Hey everybody, Big V here. Today we're talking teams and we're talking specifically about how to get your business back on track when it's come off the rails. Now, a lot of you don't even know you're off track, so maybe we need to have a look at where you really are versus where you want to go. Being off track to me means that you've started out with a specific goal. You're now at a certain point of the year where you realize you're not going to hit your goal. So what do? Do we set lower goals or do we figure out how to get there? I'm not a believer in just changing your goal because they're hard. I believe in figuring out more than one way to accomplish it. So how do we do that? So I'm going to give you some of the things that I'm teaching my teams right now in coaching. Number one is the market has shifted. Things are harder than they've ever been. Everybody's trying to figure out innovative new ways to buy leads, to download things, do more marketing. Well, the reality is I want you to do the opposite. I want you to go back to the basic fundamentals that help create your greatest years in real estate, and let's execute with a higher level of perfection than we ever have on the basic fundamentals. You see, I've learned that the difference between average and exceptional isn't in the quality of person, but the exceptional, they execute at a higher level on the basic fundamentals that the average are unwilling to do. Think about that. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 systems today, and I'm going to talk about how we have to be thinking about and where we need to be looking. So one of the first things I'm going to share with you is that you got to do the work that the average isn't willing to do. We have to do basic fundamentals. That means you have to go beyond doing the basics, and you have to do the basics better. Next is you have to be thinking about, what do I have to do today that will pay me in 90 days. You see, nothing you do today is going to pay you in 30 days. So if you're not making your mortgage payment this month, going out there and being all stressed out about it isn't going to change. Matter of fact, if you focus on 90 days from now and you do all the right things today, we'll have you in a position where you're making your payments in 90 days. But being freaked out and stressed out and trying to figure out what to do isn't going to solve the problem. You've got to buckle down and get to work. Now, does that seem harsh? It does. Maybe you need that kind of tough love from somebody. Next is you got to change the conversation that's going on in your head. So let me tell you what I mean by that. If you're saying to yourself, well, I could never do it, or it's really hard, or my market's down 40%, therefore I'm not going to get up there, or I don't know why somebody else, has success and I don't. The things that you focus on, the things that are going on in your mind become your truth. And so instead of thinking about the negative things that you can't control, like what's going on in the market, what if you were only to focus on things you can control? Here's what you can control. You can control how many hours a day you spend prospecting. You can control how many conversations you have. You can control how many times you reach out to someone just to say, how you doing? How's your family? What's up? You can control your activities regardless of what's going on in the marketplace. You can't control the market and you can't control interest rates. So focus on the things you can control. The next is repetition equals mastery. You hear me say what to say and how to say things in a certain rhythm. The reason we practice scripts and dialogues is because many great careers have been established by having one good sales talk delivered with perfection. And if you practice your scripts and dialogues, the words that create emotional responses from people to allow them to keep from feeling stuck to moving forward, when you practice it over and over, when you get in the situation when you're with a buyer and seller, instead of listening to respond, you can listen to understand. And when you listen to understand, it changes the outcome of the conversation. Try this in your relationships. Listen to understand instead of listening to respond. And it happens when you practice your scripts and dialogues because you have an answer for anything that comes up in any real estate scenario or situation. The next is I want you to get up every day and just work on getting a little bit better. We call it the Kaizen principle. We focus on small incremental improvements in every area of your business and your life each day. Just focus on progress, not perfection. If we focus on perfection, I would fail every day. But because I just try and just be a little bit better today than I was yesterday, every day can be a win. So if you made 50 calls yesterday, make 51 today. If you had 2 conversations, let's dial till you have 3. If you set 1 appointment, let's just see if we can figure out what it takes to get 2. Let's just focus on making a little bit of progress every single day and just get better at this game we call real estate. Get up every day and love just doing a little bit better than the previous day. The next is find balance in the 5 F's. You've heard me talk about them before. Family, faith, friends, fun, and fitness all have a massive impact on your finances. But when you're out of balance, it makes it also a negative impact on your finances. The worst thing you can do is focus on your finances at the expense of your family, your faith, your friends, your fun, or your fitness. When you do that, what happens is you put those things that matter most in your life at risk. And I know in your heart that you're unwilling to do that, but are your actions consistent with your beliefs? The next is accountability. Accountability as a team leader or a team member, I'm going to ask you to choose accountability because it's the most important choice you'll ever make. It's when you make the decision to hold yourself accountable for the promises you've made to your goals, to your family, to your team, to your community, to the people that matter the most. You make these promises, but you don't hold yourselves accountable. I think we're really good at holding other people accountable, but when it comes to holding ourselves accountable, well, that's a different story. I mean, how many of you have hired a trainer at the gym where when you hire the trainer, you show up every day and you do your exercise, you do your workout with the trainer's right next to you, because accountability happens when you invest in the accountability. But how many of you have set a goal to go to the gym every day? You've promised you're going to do it, and now it's the third week of January and you've stopped going. You intended to go, but you don't actually do it. It's because you haven't got true accountability. So you haven't made the choice for accountability. I hire a trainer because I know that if I hire the trainer, I'm going to show up. Maybe it's time to hire your coach so that your coach can help hold you accountable to the promises you make to your family and to your community and to your finances. I think that accountability is one of the greatest choices you make, and accountability is love. Next is I'm going to give you a system. I call it the top 50. We wrote an ebook called How to Close 86 Transactions a Year Working with 50 People 1 hour a day. You can have a top 50. Let me define what a top 50 is. These are the top 50 people in your business or your life that you like, know, and trust that are willing to give you one referral a year. Every month, you're going to have one personal touch with every single person on your top 50 list. And you're going to track those touches. Did you call them? Did you meet them for coffee? Did you go out as couples? What are the things you did to interact with your top 50? One personal touch every single month. And it means you can't do an email or a text message. Those aren't personal and they're not real touches. So I want you to have a face-to-face interaction with everybody on your top 50 list. Imagine what would happen if you had 50 people that all gave you a minimum of one referral a year. That's the easiest business you can get, but you got to do it. Now, I've got clients that do a top 50 of their top 50 clients, but they also have a top 50 realtors in other markets. One of my favorites tells a story. Matter of fact, in 2023, she paid out $125,000 in 25% referral fees to agents outside her market. Now think about that. That means that she made 3 times that in her income. And all it was working a top 50 list of agents outside her market. Every time she goes to a show or a convention, she nurtures those relationships and she calls and keeps it at the front of their mind. So when they think of somebody moving into her marketplace, they think of her first. You can also have a top 50 vendors, people who are in and around the real estate industry. Top 50 has so many things you can do, and the cost of work in your top 50 is 0. Now that top 50 system is 86 transactions working with 50 people 1 hour a day. The number can be amplified by your list of top 50 and how well you work it. You cannot have to spend a single dollar if all you did is work your multiple top 50s. How good is that system if you don't do it? You see, what's the value of increased knowledge and increased information if your actions and your behavior is not altered as a result of that information? So I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the top 50. You can go right down here in the link. You can get a copy of the 8651 ebook and the tracker that allows you to track your top 50. But how many of you are willing to make the commitment? Maybe you go in the comment section right here and just tell me whether or not you're committed. Are you committed to work the top 50 as it's outlined in the ebook top 50? And if you are, just say, I'm committed. And I'm going to watch those comments and I'll come back and I'll respond to them. But let's see if we can create a frenzy around people working their top 50. Will you do me another favor? As you watch these videos, go in and comment on them and share with me what's working and what's not working, and let me help give you the information that is driving business when other people are struggling in the shifting market. I'm going to give you one more system. It's called the 3, 2, 1s of real estate development. Every day I want you to get up and I want you to write down 3, 2, 1. Here's how it's going to work. Every day I want you to call 3 people in your database, 3 people you know in the past, 3 people from your sorority. They could be 3 past clients, 3 people in your fraternity, 3 people in your church group. I don't even care. All you're going to do is you're going to call to serve, not call to sell. You're going to give them information about what's going on in the marketplace, and you're going to say these words. Make sure that before you or anyone you know buys or sells real estate in this challenging market, you always call me first. Whether or not they use me, it's totally fine. I just want to serve. Those are the words, exactly as I give them to you. I want you to call 3 past clients every day. 3 past clients are people in your sphere. How many of you can do that? Then I want you to prospect. Prospect means looking for new people, and I want you to add 2 new people to your database every year, every day. So we're going to call 3 past clients every day. We're going to prospect till we find 2 new customers, and we're going to add 2 new customers to the database. And then last but not least, I want you to learn 1 new thing. I want you to focus on learning 1 new thing, starting with your CRM, because I want you to be a master of your CRM, because that is the magic that holds your whole business together. We're going to prospect. We're going to contact our past clients, and we're going to learn 1 new thing. I promise you, after 90 days, you'll never stop doing it. 3, 2, 1s in your top 50 are the 2 most valuable zero-cost lead generation tools you'll ever do in your real estate business. You got to have a system to track them. I'm going to give you the system. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the downloads. Now it's up to you. Are you going to choose accountability? Are you going to do the work? Are you going to fish upstream? I don't know. The answer is up to you. 2 things we do in real estate is business development and people development. It's time to create some new business development. So download the 8651 and let's get to work.